Hello, welcome back to the table. I posted on Facebook the questions I had regarding some of the rules and just wanted to make sure I got a few things right. I want to say a big hello to Roderick, who did respond to me. He didn't have the answers to all the questions, but he did help me to realize something that I guess I taught it to you wrong, but the way I taught it to you also works. Like, it's not like so basically what's supposed to happen is when we draw these AI cards, you're supposed to leave the last one drawn on each AI player, so they have that card in front of them. And so when that card's in front of them, and then let's say a trade conference ends up happening, this would be their rules for the trade conference, or this is their rules for the something something, and so or this up arrow determines how their industry is going to play out. What I've been doing is I've been drawing fresh cards, right, to do that. They both accomplish the same thing. It's just that the old cards, can they're already in front of the AI, and you're just supposed to use those. In the case of the trade conference, the way I'm doing it is actually superior, because you can actually look at everybody's cards, and then when you make your bid, you can force it so your bid is going to be exactly what you want, and you can always win. And you don't want that. By drawing the cards after you've already taken your turn, you have no idea how the AI is going to bid. So that's actually pretty cool. So anyways, we are moving on we are on generation 4 here, and let's get cracking. We have the yellow player going first. I did put poker chips. This is now representing the resources. I am very happy with that. And one of the questions I did ask in Board Game Geek is, what's the point of resources other than scoring points at the end? Don't have an answer for that. The other one I don't have an answer for is, if I draw a blue, in this case, we drew a blue global action card, and then we had to wrap around and go back to the beginning. Does the beginning mean we go back to the blue beginning, or do we include the red, right? Because that situation happened to us in the last scenario. So very possible. The other thing I want to address is somebody did put a comment that they thought I was being a little, I don't know, they didn't accuse me of an actual adjective, but they just didn't think it was cool that I called out how other YouTubers collect money to do a game. I think it's a fair feedback, but at the same time, they do collect money to do games. So I don't know what to say. I guess the feedback that I specifically referencing to asked me to, that it wasn't classy to bring it up, to talk about it. I think more people should be talking about the fact that there's people who do reviews on games or plays games and on YouTube, and they accept money to do it. So it does force them to portray a game in a better light than maybe it deserves. It absolutely does that. And people who get privileged to have games before they're really published, they don't want to lose that privilege. So the only way they can lose that privilege is if they start getting snarky or negative about a game. Now, the one thing I will say about this Brookspun Games, I think Jason Brooks is the designer. This game is it's a great game. So, I opened up saying I was concerned that this was his first time designing. And I'm going to go into a little bit of review mode here. He did make some design mistakes. And I'm going to say that as a game player, not as a fellow designer, because I've never designed a game. He's already way ahead of me in that regard. But as a player, he's already made some really rookie mistakes. Here's the absolute most clear mistake here. The explore action is worthless. It's absolute trash. Nobody should ever take that action. That action is the worst action amongst all actions possible. And so it's a dedicated corner of your card that nobody's ever going to do. And if you are doing this, you're losing the game. That's me being kind. But just remember, as I'm criticizing the game, I just said this is a great game. So I really enjoy it. It's just that explore action needs to be completely redesigned. And I don't know how it didn't get redesigned in the playtesting, to be quite honest. I think it's the crappiest action ever. And to me, that's a byproduct of first-time game design. Because I think when you play a Lacerda game, he's designed many games in his lifetime. If anything, you can accuse him of redoing things, right, that he's done before. But his theme is always rich. And the one thing you got to give him credit for is usually every component or aspect of the game is tight-knit. This one, there's a lot of tight-knit aspects, but that explore action, we have not used it once. And guess what? The AI is not using it either. On the AI cards, they're not even doing the explore action because the designer knew that it's the crappiest action on the board. So not even the AI cards are doing it. So anyways, that is the trademark of a first-time designer, is he's got this game element that's really just trash compared to everything else. It's not as elegant, it's not as tight-knit, etc. Okay, I already beat that dead horse there. But that doesn't mean this isn't a good game. In fact, I highly recommend this game right now. I really think I'm having a blast. I couldn't wait till I got home tonight to keep playing. So what higher compliment can you give than that? And so I'm really glad I backed this game, and I hope Brookspun Games really takes off. And Jason, whatever next game you design, I hope you improve upon that explore mechanic in the next game. But at the same time, I'm actually really looking forward to seeing what his next one would be, and I would probably be very first in line to check it out. Okay, one last criticism of the game. And this is something I think that when I play this with my board game group on Wednesday night, they're going to play this with me. I'm very convinced it's going to happen. There's really not a lot of actions in this game. And, when you draw your cards, you get 3 cards, which is 3 actions. And then if you're lucky, there's 2 more actions here, on the global actions. So you're taking about 4 or 5 actions every round. And then there's 6 rounds in the game. So 6 times 4, you're taking about 24 actions in the game. I guess that's a healthy number because there's a large number of generations. But it's really hard to get something going. Because, you do things, and then, you get the second thing going, and then you get the third thing going, and then, the round's over. So, it's a criticism, yes. I don't know how to improve on that. I mean, the game is fun the way it is, though. It's just that that's the quirky part, is you got to really, every action counts, because you don't get that many. At least in my opinion. Now that I calculated that it's 24 actions, that sounds like a lot, actually. But when you're playing the game, it doesn't feel like you had a lot of actions at all. And then when you're controlling 5 Nemesis, you feel like you never get to take a turn. So anyways, and then some of the guys on Board Game Geek thinks I'm crazy because I'm controlling 5 Nemesis. But that's the point of this channel, is to be crazy. And I'm also going against the guru level difficulty. So it is what it is. Okay, I just got some caffeine, and let's get going. Sorry for the mini review, but I thought it was a good time to do one. Okay, so we're going to start with yellow, and we're starting at the top, and you can see they're going to buy the red group. So yellow is here, and their next one is they're doing a heavy this time, and they're going to go around and buy the first red, which is the theater, and so that will go up by 2. All right, and the first card gets refreshed. Okay, next card is red. They're going to do a relationship with the socialite. So red has plenty of relationship tokens, and it goes on the socialite. So they're going to score 7 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, that was quick enough. Now I gotta shuffle some cards. And we're moving on to the white player. They are going to sell in the middle tier. So the one they're going to sell, of course, is the highest valued one. But they need to own. The only one they own is in the government tier. So that is not on their list. And if it's not on their list, then that means they can't do the action. White has has only one dividend thing out there, and it's in the government tier. So they will just get 15 foundation, which isn't even enough to move. That's crazy. They basically just wasted a turn. Now, somebody did post in Board Game Geek, and the designer did answer that, you know, if you believe that the AI just did something extremely inefficient, so what they were asking is, if the AI doesn't even have an heirloom stolen, why would they do this action? And the designer just said that, you know, if they do an inefficient action like that where nothing happens, then just be glad, because there's going to be a lot of other times when the AI is going to do something that scores a bazillion points for them. And that is 100% true. And I think you've seen that so far. So yes, white just got the shaft. And they didn't, they wouldn't sell something unless it was actually very specifically in their list. Let's see, that is a level 2 card. Okay, next is purple. Purple's gonna form a relationship with the inventor. So I'm gonna go look at purple here. They have, the inventor is right here, and so they're gonna gain 2 resources. So I'm just gonna grab 2 poker chips, give those to purple. And purple already has 11, so now they're at 13 resources. Oh, purple can't do this. They already have a relationship there. That's not allowed. So we got to grab the next one. Next one is me, the professor. They already have one with me. The third one is the robber baron. Excuse me, and that one they can do. That gives them 40 gold. So we're going to take back the two resources, and we're going to give them 40 gold, which is going to turn into 25, like so. All right. Blue is the last one. Blue is going to buy an opponent's heirloom. Okay, so the rule is they're going to buy the opponent who has the factory, because the factory is the highest industry. That is not us this time. That is yellow for sure. And I'm just looking around to see if anybody else. The factory is here. So you could see it's a product of yellow. And then this character, which is purple. So blue can steal from yellow or purple. Now blue is looking for a 0, 1, 2, 3. They're going for a level 4 heirloom. Holy cow. So they can take from yellow or purple. Now the tiebreaker is fame points. And if you look over here, yellow has more than purple. So they're going to take the yellow one, and they're going to take a level 4. So that's going to go right there. And blue is way up on the heirloom department. It must be nice to not have to pay any resources. Okay, blue does have to give 4 victory points to yellow, though, unless they're rivals, and I'm checking right now to see if they are. Yellow is the corporate mogul, and they are rivals. Oh my gosh, look at that. They're rivals right there. So corporate mogul is who yellow is, and so blue is a rival, and so they don't have to pay anything to steal that heirloom. Okay, it is our turn. So we got to get out some minor investments to get a score before the end of this generation. So if I look here, you got a government one. We actually all of our minor investments are out. So we got as many points out that we can get. So we don't want to do any of these middle actions, actually. We can, right here, perform your character's special action for 2 fame. That's a good one. We got a socialite, which will give us 7 fame. And then the general will actually give us 2 fame because he's a player character. And then we would get 2 resources. That's a good one. Or, we can just try to get an heirloom, right? That's something we definitely want to do. This one is a famous person, or we can get 20 gold for a relationship with this person, which gives us resources. And then, of course, this is the all-important one, where we can get a relationship with anybody we want or do our special action. So I think what I want to do is I want to get a hold of that heirloom right away, because we were talking about stealing an heirloom. We didn't, and now's the time. We want to get one stolen. We have a level 1 heirloom. We want to steal a level 2. So I think what I want to do is I'm going to take this card, and we're going to use this to steal an heirloom. I'm also going to look at the market here, just to make sure there's nothing here that's jumping out. This one here is perform your character's special action, which is interesting. But let's get an heirloom. So I'm going to go ahead and play this card. We have a 0 and a 1. We need a 2. We can get our own level 2, which will give us money. But we wanted to get somebody else's. And we already took the Corporate Mogul's heirloom. And so I think I want to get, let's look at level 2s that are out here. So for example, this level 2 is already gone. This level 2 we can't get because it costs 3 iron. So that's out. Yellow we already stole from. This level 2 is way gone because this guy's been going bonkers. The only other level 2, oh yeah, this is the one. We can steal from purple. And we can take this level 2 here. And purple is the transport baron. So we're going to have to give purple 2 of our fame. So that's something we're going to do. And we're going to take that, and it goes here. And see, this has the manufacturing industry, which is the big at the top of the thing. So that's why we want it. It's going to get us a lot of points when that gets done. So first things first, it's going to take an iron, a paint, and a gem. So iron, paint, and gem. We have all those, like so. Okay, and then we have to lose 2 fame and give those fame to purple. So our fame goes down by 2. Purple goes up by 2. All right, and that's it. We got an heirloom. The heirloom actions are very anticlimactic, but they do pay off for you later. It's a really weird feeling to do an heirloom action. But yes, we are done, and now it's back to yellow, and we're now on our second card. So yellow wants to form a relationship with a legendary, and that is something we were thinking of doing, but they beat us to it. So they're going to go here. They form this relationship with the legendary, and they get 50 foundation points. So they're just steamrolling along, and they just went up 2 more. Next up is red. They're going to flush the middle. They're going to form a relationship with the thief. Red does have a relationship token. And they go with the thief, who is a 50. So they're going to get a resource in 50. So let's do the 50 first. 1, 2. And I'm going to put the camera down. And we're going to grab 1 chip and give it to them, because that's going to represent the resource. Next up is white. Relationship with the professor. They already have one. Relationship with legendary. They can, they're out of relationship tokens. White is out of relationship tokens, so they're just going to get 50 fame or foundation points. So they're going to go up 2 on the foundation points. All right, purple. Purple is going to invest in the middle yellow industry. I'm looking at purple. They have a minor investment that can come out. And the first one is here. The second one is there. So they're going to invest in books, and the books will go up by 1. Okay, next up is blue. They're going to grab an opponent's heirloom. And it's blue again. Blue is just going bonkers with these heirlooms. they already have a level 3 heirloom from us, a level 4 heirloom from the corporate mogul. Now, one thing the rules don't explain is, are the Nemesis players limited to only stealing one heirloom from one other player? Because what it says is it steals the heirloom, you know, from the topmost industry, which is purple and blue, and then it's going, or purple and yellow, I mean, and then it would steal from whoever has the most fame, which is yellow. So technically, it should steal another yellow heirloom. Now, what's interesting is you're only allowed to steal one extra heirloom if they're on your amicable side. If it's a rival, you don't get to do that. So I'm going to try to hold them to the rules, and I'm going to make them steal from purple because that's the next best player. And so that would be a level 5 heirloom. And so the blue player now has all of their heirlooms except for the level 6. That is extremely impressive. And the level 6, by the way, they can steal from anybody. So there is no limit on that one. They obviously can still only have one, but they're almost maxed out on their heirlooms. And we have 5 Nemesis players, so the chances that they're constantly drawing a card that lets them steal heirlooms is really low probability, and it's happening. I think that's very impressive. So after blue is us. So it's now our turn. So what do we want to do? I know we keep beating around the bush and never doing our character special action. I think it's time. What do you think? I think it is. Although I would like to get another heirloom. The problem is I have a brush, a cog, and a gem. I need a level 3 heirloom, and I just don't think there's a level 3 heirloom out there that needs those types of resources. I see, a whole bunch of iron. I'm close, I'm just not quite there. So if you do have a relationship with somebody, you do spend one less resource on taking an heirloom from them. We could actually take our own heirloom. However, the brush, the cog, and the gem is not quite enough. I need 2 more resources. So I would have to create a relationship with somebody like this person. I would get the 2 resources for creating this relationship, and then that would allow me to get another heirloom later. But for now, I think what I'm going to do let's just do our special action. I'm going to do this one where I pay 2 fame, and I'm going to perform my character special action. So I go down 2 fame, but just so you know, my special action is going to give me 2 fame. So I'm going to get those 2 fame right back. And then what it says is I can move, since we're in the 2nd generation, I can move 25 from an opponent's foundation into my own. So I'm going to take it from yellow. Yellow's going to go down 1, and I'm going to go up 1. So it's sort of anticlimactic. We've been talking about how much I want to do that, and then of course I do it, and it's like, oh, is that it? I probably do want to try to get another heirloom, because these things can start to really pay off. We took one from yellow, we took one from purple. Those are both excellent. Okay, but our turn's over, so we can move on to their turn. So now it's yellow, 3rd action. They're going to sell in the red, and I'm looking, yellow does have a red. They have a major investment in red, so they're going to sell this. It's going to give them 10 times 5, which is 50. So they're going to get 50 gold for that. And that means they move up 2 here. Sorry for the wobbliness. Next up is red. They're going to do a global action, and they're going to resolve the current event. So red's already doing one, and let's do the successor first. red is looking for the fist. And there's a face-up one right here that has a fist on it, and they have to take a face-up card. So they're going to take this one, and they're going to get 50 foundation for it. So red moves up twice. Okay, let's resolve the event. Red's card, just put it in front of you here, is the up arrow. So we're going to look at the event card, and the number is always the up arrow. All relationships with the general and socialite produce immediately. That's what's going to happen. And then it gives us the gymnast looking picture. So socialite is 7 points for red. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2 for white, 2 for blue. 1, 2, 1, 2. The general is a resource for purple. So I'm going to go grab it. Poker chip and give that to purple, who's now up to 12. All right, so that covers red's turn. So, oh, one more thing. Whoever's in last place, which is now purple, they're going to grab the end of next generation scoring tile. And that was, we said it was the gymnast looking thing. So here's the remaining scoring tiles, and it looks like a puppet or a gymnast. So 1, 2, those two are the only ones available to choose from. I'm going to draw a card, and you can see the arrow is pointing down. So we're going to take the lowest number, which is, this is 10, and that one's 4. So we're going to do that one. And what this one is earn fame equal 2 times the level of each of your heirlooms controlled by opponents. So if somebody stole from you, you get fame. That's a very interesting one. We do have one stolen from us. Okay. Yellow's going to score a lot of points on that one. That was red. So now we move to white. White is going to flush the top card. We're on the third action, so white is going to buy something in the yellow, and white certainly has the ability to. There's a minor investment here, and white's going to come around and they're going to buy. They're basically joining the party, and that industry is not able to move up anymore. So it's oversaturated right now. Very interesting situation. Okay, I just shuffled some, and now we're moving on to purple. Level 3, purple has one relationship left. They're going to do a legendary. So all the legendaries are full. So what happens is they're going to bump white. And so white's legendary token just goes back. When you get bumped, you actually get to draw a card, like a successor card, or I think you get to do an explore action, which is that crappy action we were talking about. No, I don't even think you get to do that. We'll look it up if it ever happens to us. But that was purple. Now we go to blue. And blue's third action is they're going to do a global, a red global. They want to do the event, but the event's not available. So until somebody clarifies on Board Game Geek, I'm going to assume they're going to do the other red event. So we will do advance relationships and collect benefits. And this is for blue. So blue right now only has one relationship on the board, and that's the 2 fame. So they're going to collect that before everything advances. And I'm going to put the camera down. Way in the back here, this blue advances off, and then these advance forward. So blue actually loses that relationship. We lose this relationship here. It goes back to us. We advance. White loses that one. Yellow Purple loses that relationship. Purple loses that relationship. And then this comes across. We lose this one. And then white loses that one. Okay, so what's left over? Well, we'll start at the top here. You can see red and white, they're going to score 2 victory points each. So we're going to try to put the camera down. 2 for white, 2 for red. I'm just going to go clockwise and do it that way instead of trying to do it by color. So over here, just underneath the camera, there's a gold payout of 20. Oh no, I have to add them all up because, yeah, I have to add them up. So let's just start with the white player. The white player does get 3 more fame, and that's for the professor spot down here. And that's it. The red player, we already did that one. This is 20 gold, and that's 10 more for 30. And we had to add those together because that's going to equal 25. Well, it equals 30, but it's only going to bump them by 25. Okay, so that was white, that was red. Let's do purple. Purple gets 2 fame here. And then they're going to get 2 resources here. And then this one doesn't, that gives them a card, which doesn't do anything for them. So 2 fame for purple. And then, I keep dropping this. And then 2 resources. Purple is up to 14. Okay, blue. Blue has 6 fame here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These relationships really do pay off. That's it for blue. And then yellow is getting 20 gold here, 10 gold there, so that's 1 bump. And then here's 2 more bumps because it's a 50. And then 5 fame there. So yellow gets 5 fame. And then 3 bumps. 1, 2, 3. And then last but not least is us, and all of our relationships are dwindling. All we have left is a 20 here, so we're going to get 20 gold. Yeah, I think we need to get another relationship out there for sure. And of course, we waited too long. Now it's a little too late to get one going, but that's okay. Now whose turn? This was blue's turn. So we're going to have to, they get the other face-up card. And blue is looking for the acrobat. And they got 2 light bulbs. So the number 1 card for them is this one. So this will go away. And blue moves up 1 more point. So we do that for them. And that ends their turn. So both of the mandatories are gone. It's now our turn. We have 2 actions left. And remember, this is the end of a century. So if whatever cards are still in our hand, we don't get to use. So a couple of things. We can, I have an heirloom that I can grab. It would be a level 4 heirloom. It would be our own. I am short an iron and a gem, which neither of these cards give me. And I'm looking on the market here, and neither of them get them either. So we could, this one, of course, is a wild card. We can create a relationship with anybody. And then if we do one with ourselves, of course, we do our special action. This one here is with the Transportation Baron, which would get us, I'm looking, we would get 20 gold and then 2 resources to start. It's not the worst thing in the world to do. And that's actually, yeah, that's a real good one, because that's the 2 resources we're looking for. So I'm going to go ahead and spend 15, and we're going to go ahead and do this one, and we're going to create the relationship with the Robber Baron that's written there. And that is not one, I'm sorry, Transportation Baron, and that is not one that is free for us. So we're going to grab a relationship token. It goes, oh, look, we already have a relationship with him. That's why we can't do that. Can't do that. So I need to exchange this and do a relationship with someone else. I think ideally the socialite looks pretty awesome because the socialite just gives out fame points. But if we can get like a resource to trade, that's pretty nice too. So I'm looking at the options here. And so first option is a socialite. That would be straight up fame points. Next option is a politician, which is a mixture of fame and gold. The thief will get me one resource, which I need two of them. They'll give me one resource, and then of course they give me a lot of gold, and that's it. Now the other thing I can do is I haven't taken back my 15 gold yet, but I can do this one, and instead of doing my special action, I can just create a relationship with anybody I want. And so I can, for example, go after the inventor, who will give me 2 resources. Or the general. The general will give me 2 fame and 2 resources. That's actually a decent one. Yeah. Is that what I want to do? Wow. For the first time, I'm really stuck on what I should do next. Or I can get a heavy investment out there, which, just because we're moving to the next century, getting a heavy investment out there just means I'm going to invest in something that is going to be worth a lot later. I think I just want to give you a chance to look. I can't do this. That's all fame. See, this is all gold. I was trying to find something that's a mixture of resources and something else. And you can see there is one, except we already have a relationship with them. This one, the robber gives me 1 resource for going there, and then I get a lot of gold. I think I'm going to do this one, and instead of using my special ability, I'm going to form a relationship with the general. And the general is not one of my buddies, so I can't do it for free. It is going to cost me 25 gold. I've already spent 15, if you recall. So I'm just going to spend 10 more. And we're going to take a relationship token and put it on the general. So what that does for me is I do get to collect 2 resources, and I gain 2 fame, which isn't bad. The 2 resources is what I'm looking for. And if I want to get like one of my own or somebody else's, I have to be really careful here. I'm going to be looking for a level 3 resource, a level 3. I can't even buy, my level 3 is stolen, so I can't get my own level 3. That's the issue. That's what's going on. Level 3 doesn't take that many resources. But in my case, it does because I was looking at my level 4 card. Okay, so I gotta look at other people's level 3. So the blue player's level 3 costs 2 gems and 2 paint brushes. So I will take a gem and a paintbrush because I already have 1 gem and 1 paintbrush. So that will give me 2 of each. We'll try that. Okay, that was a very long turn. Apologize for that. We move to the yellow player. And we are on action 4. So yellow player is going to steal from somebody else. They see the industry is the number 1. They've already stolen from the general, but the industry is not the general. The industry is purple, and they need a level 3 card, which does exist. That card right there. So yellow just stole that, and that flushes the middle card. Okay, next up is red. and they're going to try to form a relationship with the broker. So that is very possible. Okay, and that gives them 40 gold, so red will bump once. Next is white. They're going to do a blue action, the gold collection. So they're going to generate heirloom income. And so we will start with the blue player. The blue player has 3, and then you're going to basically get to treat it like it's 4. So they have, you can see there the camera and the Mona Lisa. So the camera is here, which is worth 15 gold, and the Mona Lisa is worth 6. So that's 21. And then they get to do it times 4 because they have 3 cards, and then because they chose this, they get to add 1 more. So 21 times 4 is 84, and that's a lot of bumps for blue. So 25, 50, 75. They get 3 bumps. So well done on blue's part. And then blue gets to, we're going to get them their successor as well. So I'm going to draw 2 cards for them. They're looking for the acrobat. Or did blue already? Oh, blue already did one. Never mind. Okay, next up we're going to do purple. Purple has just 1 card, 1 heirloom. And it's a big one though, the industry and the camera. The industry is all the way up at the top, worth 50 gold. The camera is worth 15, so they're gonna bump twice, purple is. Next is red. Red has just 1 heirloom. It's military and education. Military is here for 6, education is there for 8. The red does not bump at all. Next is white. White has 3 of them. The Mona Lisa and the, so both of these actually. So that's worth 12 times 3 is 36. So white's gonna get 1 bump. And then we'll go ahead and do yellows while we're at it. Yellow has 2. And they're the books and the factory. So those are both really high. The factory is worth 50. The books are worth 20. That's 70. So yellow is at 140. So this thing's going to go 25, 50, 75, 100, 125. That was huge payout for yellow. And then there's us. We have only 1, but it is a good one. We have the science in the books. And the science, you can see, is worth 30, and the books are worth 20. But unfortunately, we don't get the bump. We just get 50. So going to get 2 more gold bars. And that rounds it off. So this is now done. It is our turn. So we can squeeze out the last action, or we can grab one of these global actions, which, as you may have noticed, is actually starting to pay off. Rather lucratively. I'm going to go ahead and squeeze out our last action. And the action I'm going to do is I'm going to actually steal an heirloom. Let's get more heirlooms, because we haven't done the heirloom scoring for that yet. So I'm going to squeeze that off. That would go here. Now, we just got the exact resources so we could steal from blue. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to steal these 2 from blue and put that there. And that's 2 gems and 2 paintbrushes. In some ways, I think I might have been better off just getting my own, but my own actually level 3 heirloom is not available. Now, we are getting these in order, and I just want you to understand, you're allowed to get heirlooms in any order. So if you want to get the level 5 heirloom first, you can. You just can't get the 6th one until you've gotten all 5. So there's no law that says you have to get them, we had to get the level 3. We could have went and gotten our level 4 if that's what we wanted to do. So anyways, I got 3 of them because I'm anticipating the AI is going to do this particular action. So let's, that ends our turn, and then we used all of our action cards. So now it's to yellow, and we're on the bottom here. So guess what they're going to do? They're doing exactly the action I just pointed to. So here we go. This is coming out. Generate heirloom fame. This is being done by the yellow player, which means they get to add the points for both. The yellow player does have 2 of them. And so they have the industry, which is huge, and then the camera. So the industry is at 10 fame, and then the camera is at 4 fame. Just to show you, industry is at 10 fame, and the camera is at 4. So that's 14 fame. And then the military is at 1 fame, and then this is at 1 fame. So what did I say? 14, 15, 16 fame for yellow. That's a good payout. 16 fame. 23. There's 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. They're up to 39. Okay, and then while I have their attention, we're going to draw 2 cards and get the successor taken care of. They need the bank symbol, which they didn't get. They got these 2, so the highest number is the bottom one for 40, and you can see they're going to bump twice on the track. So yellow is just steamrolling on that track. There's no catching them. Okay, I'm just going to go in table order. So we're going to move to the blue player, and the blue player does have 3 stolen heirlooms. They only get the best one, but the blue player has some awesome ones. This is the factory, and the science. I pointed to the books, but the science is actually better. So that's 10 points, 10 points, and then the science is 7. So they're getting 27 points for this. That's a lot of points for blue. Okay, so we're going to come up here. They're at 32, 42, 52, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They're up to 59. Now, granted, none of them have caught us yet, but that's a good jump. So now we go to purple. Purple has 0 heirlooms that have been stolen. Red has 1. Red's is the science is the highest one. So red's going to get 7 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we go to white, has 0. And then now there's us. We have 3 of them. Now we only get to add 1, just like them, because we didn't choose the action. But you can see we also have the factory, and then this one, the camera, is the highest one. So this is 10. That one's 10, and then the camera is 4. So they just did a huge bump, but so did we. We just jumped 24. This is a 78, 10, 88, 10, 98, 1, 2. And I'm supposed to have a token for this, but it's missing. So I'm just going to use my die. And then we're going to go 3, 4. So we're back around. We just hit the 100 and we looped the board. Okay, so that wraps this up. We're done. That was the blue player. Was that really the blue player? No, that was yellow. I'm sorry. We're on the red. Red at the bottom is doing a red action, which are all gone. So they're just going to move to the right, and we're going to move into the foundation action. Now, I could be misinterpreting this because they're not able to do a red action because the red actions are gone. So I should move them up 15 on the track. That's another way to interpret this. You could say, okay, well, they need to move right and then take the blue one. So I'm going to interpret it literally and say that they had to take a red, but both of the reds are gone. So therefore, they're going to just pass. And so hold on a second. Yeah, so we're going to have them pass. The 15 points don't move them anywhere. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, white. White's going to do a blue trade conference. And the thing they're going to trade for is they're going to be trading resources. Okay, and then they want to get gold. But so we got a trade conference for these guys. And so I got to take this top piece. And they want to trade, it looks like resources. So So they're going to be bidding resources. Okay, this is where the resources actually come in handy, because they do actually have resources. Okay, so that's on. And this guy wants to get gold, and he's willing to bid 1 resource for that. So we're going to go ahead and put his marker on. He's willing to bid 1 resource for 100 gold. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and we have to do this one in exact order. So this was the white player. So now we got to go to purple. So I'm going to draw for them, and you can see that they're going to bid 3 resources, and they want to get fame. So the purple player wants to bid 3 for fame. And the reward is 5 fame there. Okay, next one is blue. Blue is going to bid 2 resources, and they want gold. So blue is going to do a bid of 2 for gold. Then it gets to us, and we don't know what the other guys are going to bid. This is a bidding of resources. We only have 1 resource. So do I really want to bid 1 resource for anything is the question. I could try to get 50 foundation points for 1 resource. If I bid here, I'm only going to get 2 fame points instead of 5. And if I bid here to tie this guy, I'm not going to win at all in the gold. I just don't have resources to trade. And so part of me doesn't want to bid anything. But 50 fame point or foundation points isn't bad, because that's basically 2 fame points. And because of the end game scoring that we're aware of, that's 4 fame points. I get more fame points bidding here than I would there. So I'm going to go ahead and bid my 1 resource there. And we're going to try to go up foundation. Okay, so moving back to the turn order here, we're going to go to yellow. So yellow's going to bid 1, and they want foundation. So yellow's basically going to tie me for this. And I don't know what happens with a tie. I have to look that up. And then next would be red. They want to bid 5 resources for fame. So they're going big. So they're going to bid 5 resources for fame. And I'm going to pause this and look up what happens when there's a tie. Okay, this was an easy peasy one. When there is not supposed to be a tie. You're not allowed to bid somewhere where somebody else already bid. So we already bid in that one spot for foundation. So then instead they want to bid for gold. So that one's already taken. So then they want to bid for resources. Well, that's what they're already doing. So then they want to bid for fame. So that's what they're going to do. You just keep going down the track until there's an empty spot for them to bid on. They're only willing to bid 1. And so you just keep going down the line until you find a resource that they could actually bid 1 for. So there is no such thing as having a tie. They're not allowed to bid something that somebody else ahead of them bid. Okay, so this becomes simple here. Yellow doesn't lose anything. We do lose our resource, but we gain 50 foundation. And that does let us get a bump of 2. So I'll take it. Red is going to lose 5 resources. And they do have 5 to lose. So that's funny. And they are going to gain 5 fame points. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're up to 86 now, or 58 now. So red is done. Purple is going to lose 3 resources. They have a mountain of resources. And purple will get 2 fame points, so that puts them up to 20. They actually were really far behind. And then blue is going to lose 2, and white's going to lose 1. And blue only had 2. That was interesting. I guess I should have paid attention. And so blue's going to get 100, and white's going to get 25. So I'm going to zoom out, and white gets 25, and blue gets 100. 1, 2, 3, 4. So they moved up quite a bit there. This was the white player's turn. White needs to draw 2 cards for successor. And they're looking for the light bulb. They don't get it, so then they're going to take this card here, which doesn't bump them any. And now we're done, and we go to purple's turn. All right, so we got the 2 red overturned and then 3 of these. So 1 more is all it takes for the round to end, and it probably will right here. And using the rules we've been playing, it doesn't. There is no red, so they try to move 15 and they can't, so nothing happens for purple. So now we go to blue, and blue's going to do it. They're going to try to do a trade conference, which they can't do, but instead they're going to go to the right and they're going to do the industry bump. So the industry bump here, blue is going to bump both of their industries. So blue's industry is right here. Blue is this character. So their 2 industries is the Mona Lisa and the camera. So they're both going to bump 1. And then we got to go around and everybody either has to bump up or bump down. So I'm going to do just table order here. Purple is bumping down. And so the purple industry is either the camera or this. Purple is not invested in the camera, so they're going to move the camera down. Okay, so next we're going to do the red player, and they're also bumping down. And the red player is over here. They can bump either of those down. Oh gosh, which one do they choose? Give me a second. It says most influenced. The lowest value industry would go up. A down arrow moves the highest value industry down. It does not factor in that they have investments. It really should, folks. If they're invested in something, they don't want to move it down. But basically it's saying the lowest one is, or the highest one is moving down. So it's education. They're going to move it down. So very interesting that they would choose that. I guess I've been playing that a little bit wrong. We got the white player now is moving up. And white is invested in Mona Lisa or theater. So it's saying that it would move up the lowest one. So theater would go up. And then we have the yellow player moving down. And the yellow player would move their big industry down, the factory. And then we're back to the blue player. So now it's just us. So we got to decide to move one of them up or down, the science or the books. And I'm going to move the books up. Get up into that top tier there. Okay, so that does trigger the end game with blue. And so we are the only one that gets the consolation prize up here. And I can take 2 resources. I can take a bump of 1 on the foundation track or 50 gold. I'm going to take 2 resources. And I think I'm going to take a cog and an iron. Okay, so that calls that. Everybody who does not have a successor has to get one. So I'm looking around the table. Purple doesn't have one. And so this was their card. So purple has to play that card. Blue has one, yellow has one. We don't have one. So I actually forgot to draw a card for us. So we're gonna have to play whatever card we have. You may play a player card from the market without replacing it from your hand when this successor retires. So if I ever replace this, which means I have to do a global action, and it retires, I can then play a player card from the market without replacing it from your hand. So basically, I get to do a global action and then play. It's almost like getting an extra turn. That's actually not bad, and that explains why you're getting nothing here. So I'll go ahead and put her on. She's Starfire. That sounds like a way too 90s of a name, or 1960s of a name for second generation or fourth generation, second century. But anyways, okay, so we got everybody's successor out. I'm going to reset these. And let's go through the list just to make sure I don't miss anything. I know for a fact I'm going to have to reset market cards, things like that. But let's go through. So we are at generation end. Any replaying players on a turn track get the bonus. Generations 1 through 5 only. Players who did not put a successor, yep, we did that. Turn all global actions face up, did that. Discard the player card market and all played player cards. So that needs to be done. I'm just doing that a little bit off camera here. And the second generation is over, so I'm just going to take the whole deck of cards, and I had them backwards here. So a whole deck of cards is out of game. Okay, let's keep going. Advance the generation tracker and perform generation start steps, no problem. But we do have an end to a century, so we got to do that. Remove all player cards from the current century from play. Each player scores fame based on the top face-up century scoring card tile. Then, after centuries 1 and 2 only, we're going to turn over the legendary figure and then get out the new tokens. And then, yeah, we're good. So let's do the scoring. End of the next century. The AI is going to score a lot on this one. You're going to earn fame based on the value of your minor investments. Okay? So we're going to look at where our investments are, and we're going to get fame based on the value of your minor investments. So this is an interesting one because I was taking the major investments, which was 5 times the gold, and that's how many points I scored. So I think this is 2 times the fame. I could be wrong. It could be you're just generating fame. But that's not how we did the last one. So based on the value, the value. Okay, 2 times the gold is your fame. Yeah, that's how we did the last one. I apologize. I'm overthinking this. Okay, so we're going to just start with the AI and go around. So we're going to start with yellow. So yellow has 2 in this industry. So that's 2 times 40, that's 80 points right there. Holy cow, is all I have to say. That's 80 points. Okay, this one is 2 times the books, which is 25. So that's 50. So we're up to 130. 2 times the science, which is 30. So that's 60. Now we're up to 190. And then 2 times the education, which is 6, is 12. So that's 202. 202 points. Holy buckets. So the yellow player is also missing their 100 marker. So 202 points. So this thing goes around 100 and gets to 39. And so it's now 139. And so then they got to go up another 100, which means this thing goes to 239, and then they get 2 points. So they just scored that many points with their minor investments. Wow, that was a lot of points. It makes me feel like I'm doing something wrong. Okay, I looked at the rule book. I don't think I'm doing anything wrong. It's just really well done. Okay, so now we go to blue. Blue has 2 in the camera. Yellow is at the 200. I'm at the 100. So blue has 2 in the camera. Camera is worth 15, so 15 times 2 is 30. Blue has 2 in the industry. That's 40 times 2 is 80, so 80 plus 30 is 110. And that's all blue's invested in. So blue gets 110. So that's not chump change either. So blue is currently at 59, so they're going to go to 69, and then they also have 100 points. I'm using the dice because those 3 players are missing their tokens. Okay, purple. Purple has minor investments in Mona Lisa, which is 16. Minor investments in the military, which is 12. So 16, 26, 28. They also have minor investments in the books, which is 50. So that's 78. And minor investment in the industry, which is 80. So that's 158. So purple just scored a lot of points as well. So we're going to take the purple die, put it on the 100, and then they score 58 more. They're at 20, so that'd be 78. They're at 178. Now we're going to go to red. Red has 2 in the factory, so that's 80, and that's it. So red just gets 80. Red is at 58. So 40 puts it to 98. That would be 50, so we need to get red out. We're going to get a red token out on the 100. And then, let's see, that's 50 out of 80, so they need 30 more. So they're going to be at 138. And then white. White is going to get 80 from this. And then they have the law, which is 12. So it's 92 for white. So white is also going to get over 100 points. And technically it's 92. So I'm just going to give them 100 points and then take 8 away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But then we get to do ours. Ours is not going to be chump change here. So we have 2 times 40 is 80. 2 times 25 is 50. So that's 130. And then 2 times 30 is 60. That's 190 for us as well. So I'm going to move us up by 200. So we're going to go up 200 and then take 10 points away. Actually, I can't do that. So taking 10 points away means I'm going to drop back 1. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I was only at 102, but I'm at 292. So I'm still winning. I'm actually way ahead of yellow still. I'm ahead of yellow by a decent amount. Purple is right behind me, but they're actually a whole 100 points behind me. This game is getting crazy with the number of points scored, but you can see it goes all the way up to 400. So it is the way it's designed is it's meant to be big scoring chunks like this. So this is not abnormal what I'm doing here. So one thing when you're playing this game is you don't want to miss out on these scoring opportunities. That is for sure. You gotta score. Okay, so that scoring round is over. So the only thing that's left is we have to now grab the tiles, and actually it's a flip over situation. So I'm going to put the camera down carefully here. So for example, the exploration tile that never gets used is flipping over to era 3. And there you can see it's 25 gold per card, and now you're getting 1 fame per card. That might actually be worth something. And then everybody else is flipping. So Socialite 7222 is now turning into 8333. And we're going to do that with all these. So this one is flipping. And the other one you can see is this guy. So that now becomes that. And we just keep going here. This one flips to there. Okay, that's everything flipped. Now I gotta flip these, which are covered up by my dice here. So the stocks are just gonna be worth a gargantuan amount now. Okay, a lot of fame, a lot of money. Okay, so we have to get out the new level 3 cards, which are these, and get those shuffled. And of course we get 3 of them. And then of course the market has to come out. We'll get out the new successor cards. There's only 2 generations left, and then the game ends. It's interesting. These scoring rounds, boy, there's a lot of scoring to be had, that's for sure. I think that the AI did do well. Like one of them did score 190, but so did we. We got 190. So we scored as much as they did this time. Last time we scored way more than they did because we were the only ones to score. That was nice. This one, of course, in the first generation, that scoring wasn't as lucrative, right? Because, you know, the dollar amounts of the stocks wasn't worth as much, but they're worth a lot more now. But yeah, very, very cool, very interesting. Here's our 3 cards. I won't look at them yet. And then the 3 market cards are coming out. One, 2, and 3. And they go here. Then the 2 successor cards, 1 and 2. That book is one that we might want. That means we'll finally have one that, because we haven't had a match yet, the whole game. The last 2 event cards are now available to be seen. Of course, the first event card, the mandatory philanthropy one, is the next one up. And then, of course, this is the last one that can come out. How are we doing? What else do we need to do? Oh, the AI deck. We had Era 2 AI cards. Those go away. And now we got to get out the Era 3 AI cards, which I'm assuming is going to have a lot of selling instead of buying. So they're going to be selling in their industry, you know, stuff like that. And we need to consider doing the same thing. You know, we got all these investments out there. That's great. But now that we've gotten the highest level tables, we may want to consider selling. Now, the dividend action, of course, is counterintuitive because if we sell, then we're not going to be collecting dividends, you know, stuff like that. What is the last scoring option? So the last of the hourglasses is heirlooms that are stolen by, you know, so if somebody steals our heirloom, we score points, right? This one, we're not going to score a lot of points on. The yellow player is actually going to get a lot of points on that one. And then we know of 2 game end scorings, and both of them, of course, are opposites of each other. This one being, because we're playing guru level, they're going to get double the points for their foundation, and they're way ahead of me on that, of course. But then I was able to screw them over, and now I'm going to get double the points for the gold at the end of the game, and they don't have any gold, so they're not going to score jack diddly on that one. So I'm going to gain a lot of points on them. And then the very last one will get revealed. Why didn't we reveal it? It should have been revealed this last time. Why didn't we do that? We even... I feel like we did something wrong, because we did. At the end of Generation 4, the last scoring card should have come out. And I feel like we grabbed a scoring card for the... So at the beginning of the game, a generation card's already out. And you can see at the end of the first generation, century cards. So century end scoring, the first one was out. Then at the end of the first generation, we draw a scoring for the end of the second century. And then at the end of the third generation, we draw scoring for the end of the third century. And then of course we started the game with an end of game bonus. Then we, at the second generation, we should have gotten a end, oh gosh. So I know we drew, remember we drew the card, we were supposed to grab the lowest number, and it was the puppets. So these are the puppets that are available. Nope, that one's a puppet. And that one, and they were taking the lowest one. So that's a 5 and that's an 8. So they would take this one. Earn 2 fame for each resource you possess. Oh, there you go. They're gonna score a lot of points on that one. So that's the one that they chose. Okay, that's fine. I don't know how I missed it, folks. It really boggles my mind. I missed it somewhere. But that's okay. We're caught up now. We know how all of our scoring is gonna work. And like I said, make sure you capitalize on that. I know that I'm going to get to score double points because of the gold, so I should probably sell some of my industry investments while I can and amass as much gold as possible. I think that that's going to be critically important, and you know, it might be one of those things where when I get my heirlooms, I may want to do exactly that. I'm going to invest in my own heirlooms just for that same purpose. I just don't know if I'm going to pull that off in 2 generations. Anyways, that brings us to the end. Thanks for watching. As always, stay awesome.